is, well, he doesn't need any introduction. Steve Shining has judged our images, and he is a gold member. I don't know what you call it. You've been here 30 years now in the club?
Wow.
36.
20 what?
36.
Oh,
36.
36. Oh, wow.
Whoa.
We're not
Okay.
even that old.
He started
When he was
12.
10. Yeah. So,
Joined
That would've
when he
been-
was 12.
I would have been 3.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We don't want to
comment.
hear that, Tamara.
Well, okay, so Steve is gonna display the pictures and Colleen is going to enter the scores. And here, go ahead, Steve, where you're on. Dorothy's gonna mute us all except for Steve
and Colleen.
and Colleen.
Okay, so I'll mute everybody, but Steve and Colleen, you'll need to unmute yourselves.
Okay.
Ready to share the screen?
Yes.
And what are we going to start with, Colleen?
Okay. Thank you. There are 40 pictures tonight. I thought we would start out with digital, general color, and then we'll do digital general monochrome. And then I don't have all of my numbers here. And then skip down to digital subject monochrome and take a break. Does that sound good to everyone?
Now, if I can get the images back.
Okay. And I might have to go away and print a page.
And you said digital general color.
Yeah, we'll do digital general color first. Perfect.
Can you see it?
Yes. I see you.
Say it again.
I see you.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, if everybody's ready, of course, photojournalism is our subject. And that's a story that's not typed or written. It's a story that's in a photo. So we have several really good stories and we have a few stories that aren't quite finished. We've only got the 40, whatever Colleen said, so we should be done by 10:30, something like that.
Yeah. So we're starting out with general, right, Steve?
Just kidding.
Okay,
Digital, color, general. First one is I see you. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Okay, I've got my notes here and the scores here, so I'll be looking down half the time at my notes and half the time at the image. So here we go with I see you. Well, we certainly have got a close-up of our old owl friend here. Very nice color in the eye. That yellow is just beautiful. You can see 3 people also in the eye, and I'm not sure if that's good or bad. It's certainly not natural. It is very hard to figure that out. The only thing that is good in focus is the yellow of the eye. Nothing else in this whole image is in any kind of sharp focus, and that's kind of sad. The color is good, exposure is good, and we're going to start out with a score of composition 3, impact 4, and technical 2 for the soft focus.
Okay, I See You by Harvey Brown, 9 points. Not So Coy.
Not so coy, a red-winged blackbird. The bird is positioned well in a frame. We need to have a catch light in the eye, and we do not have that. In fact, the eye almost looks dead because of that. So very important to your bird photographers, and I know most of you do it. Wait till that bird turns his head just the right angle and a catch light in that eye. It only takes a few seconds and you'll get it eventually. It's not quite in focus on the bill and on the top of his head. So our focal point was right down here in the middle of the body. Also, another distraction is this big limb going up. It's way too bright. It would have been okay if it had been darkened down, but it kind of pulls our eye up and out of the frame. Other than that, the exposure is good. The color is good. It's a pretty nice shot. And we're going to score that with the 4 for comp, 4 for impact, and 3 for technical.
Not So Coy, Red-Winged Blackbird by Dora Davis, 11 points.
Look at this character. Prehistoric. Very interesting character here. Good exposure, a good color. It is sharp in most places. The eye is very sharp, and of course that's the most important, but very soft focus on the nose and the lower part of the mouth here and some of this area back here. But at least we got the eye where it's focusing all around that eye. So that's very important. I would just like to see this all in focus. I really love that eye. To make it look more natural, I would have taken out this fence and post. It would have been so easy to get rid of that. And then we thought we were right out in the wild instead of in somebody's enclosed area. I think it would have just helped the mood. So anyway, very nice portrait of this, whatever it is, some kind of a dragon. And the score on that would be 4, 4, and 4.
Prehistoric by Tony Horpel, 12 points.
Didn't we all know whose that was?
We should have. Rainy Night on the Boardwalk.
Boy, when I first saw this come up on the little pictures and the screen, I thought, wow, this is way too dark. What the heck is going on here? Anyway, I had to look at this thing for a long time because I thought it was all dark, but no, it is not. It fits the title perfect and it looks beautiful, in my opinion. I hope you guys have got it on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. So anyway, I love the trailing off of the street lights. They start here and they trail off down here. I think that's kind of cool. The added lightning just helps the composition and the storyline. Is it real? No. Who cares? It's nicely done. I know a lot of work went into it, and it tells a great story for photojournalism. I've given that a composition 5. Go ahead.
This is just general. This isn't our subject.
Did I say subject?
Yeah, you said that it was journalism.
Forgive
I
me.
apologize.
It is. It could have been photojournalism.
It could
I'm
have.
sorry. Anyway, nicely done. A 5 for composition, 4 for impact, 5 for technical.
Rainy Night on the Boardwalk by Terry Hamilton, 14 points.
And didn't we know that one too?
We should have. Summer Joy.
Summer Joy. Yes, this is a very beautiful and peaceful scene. I really enjoy looking at this. I saw another one on Facebook today that was really good and very peaceful by another maker. I like the placement of the kayak in the frame. The silhouette of the trees in the background, I think, is really nice. The sky is absolutely gorgeous. We could even kick the saturation up a little on that and made it even more gorgeous. But overall, a good job. Even though the long dock is here, that doesn't bother me. It's dark enough and subdued enough. Our eye goes right to here in the water and the sky and stays right in the image. So a nice job, whoever made this. Summer Joy, 4, 4, 4.
Summer Joy by Lori Pence, 12 points. Sometime on the Palouse.
Summertime on the Palouse. I like that the makers made this a bit of a panorama. It's got this really nice clouds in the sky, just a little strip of the canola and the green pine trees. I think that's a good combination. So I think they've got a pretty good composition on this. Very good colors, simple composition, nice clouds, but the sky is very pixelated. It is, I don't think you can see that probably in your image there on the screen, but it's just really pixelated, and that doesn't help it any. Composition 3, impact 4, technical 3.
Summertime on the Palouse by Elaine Giordoni, 10 points.
You'll have to unmute Alice.
Okay, this is Steve's picture, one of them. And we had Tim Lesser judge it, or both of them. This is Sunset Windmill. This image is very well done and very timely. It contrasts two of our energy source trends at the forefront of current political debate. The composition is very good. The windmill is well placed. It is darker and heavier, but leaves lighter space on the left to give good balance. Also, the timing is good with the blade pointing into the sun side, and the slight blurring of the blade tips to imply motion, but leave the main part of the element sharp. The clouds act as a framing element on the top. The dip in the ground at the right is too close to the edge of the frame. It feels like falling out of the frame, especially with one blade pointed right at it. Needs a little more base. Composition 4. The gradation of color from deep orange through yellows to blue is exceptional. I could easily imagine myself sitting there watching the blades turn as the sun fades to dark. Focus is fine on the tower, and the shutter allows just enough blur on the blades. This is a tricky exposure situation to prevent blooming of the sun. I don't know what that means exactly. The blooming of the sun, yet still retain all the gradation of color. The colors and the tone throughout the image are excellent. Impact 5, technical 5. So it's 4 for composition, 5 impact, and 5 technical.
Sunset Windmill by Steve Shining, 14 points.
Thank you, Alice and Tim.
Mhm.
Okay, our next image, go ahead. You're gonna
Okay,
slap me, aren't you?
I am. Surviving COVID.
Well, yes, it tells a story, and the story is, hey, we've all been in the house for a long time, too long. And this is one of the activities that we've been able to do. So that's staying home. I like that the cards in the hand are totally sharp. The cards in the background on the table are a little less sharp. I think that's good. It draws our attention right to the hand and the thumb. And the thumb doesn't even mind me. I mean, that's natural how you hold a handful of cards. I don't know if that's a good hand or a bad hand because I'm not sure what they're playing. Anyway, good composition and good color. The reds are red and the blacks are blacks, and the table is kind of subdued. So I think they did a good job there. Composition 3, impact 3, and technical 3.
Surviving COVID by Jean Allman, 9 points. The Moss Tree.
All right, the moss tree. I think the square composition really works for this. The tree fits very well, and the tree's got a little bit of a diagonal to the right as it goes up, and I think that's good. Exposure is right on. Impact is not too high because the moss tree, I guess, isn't too exciting, but it is good. Presentation, it's a good presentation of a moss tree. There is something funky in the sky, however. These clouds look like they're full of water and dripping, and Tim ran into that last week. I don't know what has caused that or if it's a sharpening issue or what, but the clouds are not natural by any means. Be sure not over sharpen or don't do whatever is doing that to your clouds. Look at them before you submit. Composition 4, impact 3, technical 3.
The Moss Tree by Donald Burnell, 10 points. Vintage Life.
Vintage Life. Well, this one certainly tells a good story of this sewing machine in this room. An old antique machine and the handiwork that the maker has done. It's a bit busy around the sewing machine, but I know those are all things that you use in this project, so I guess that's okay, but it just looks a bit cluttered to me. Exposure and colors are all correct. I would have cropped the window sill down to the sill, if you know what I mean. That don't do no good. I can't show you, I guess. I would have cropped it right there. Does that show?
No.
No, forget it. I would have cropped right below that latch. I don't think that latch is adding anything to it, and I think it would have been a better way to go. So, Vintage Life, Composition 3, Impact 3, and Technical 3.
Vintage Life by Lori Carlton Smith, 9 points. Winter Survivor.
All right, Winter Survivor. Well exposed, absolutely tack sharp. You can see every hair on this sheep's body, from his butt to his head, and that's good. He's well placed in the frame. But I want to talk just a minute about that, and it doesn't change the score at all, but many of the pros say, and I agree, flip the image over so that you're coming in from the left to his face instead of coming in from the left to his hind end. Very easy, just flip it. It'll make a difference in your composition. Love the snow on the tips of his horns. He must have really been scraping the snow with his horns. Just a well done nature image. I really like that one, and I'm going to give it a 4 on composition, 5 on impact, and 5 on technical.
Winter Survivor by Donna Larson, 14 points. Okay, we're going to move into digital general monochrome.
That's going to take a long time. We have one image.
Yeah.
Now I got to get back to see how I can get that image.
Can you click on?
Steve, the little
Yeah.
the little arrow. Oh, it's gone now. There was an arrow right up where it says drive. A white arrow.
Move your mouse back up and see if it'll make it come back. Click on the picture.
Oh,
Okay, see
okay,
the arrow?
the left arrow. Go
See
to the
red
left,
box? There
right
you go.
there.
Aha.
Okay.
Good to have some people that know what they're doing. Digital general monochrome, right?
Yes.
And there it is.
Looking down the leaf.
Okay, looking down the leaf. Good composition on the leaf. It's got a nice diagonal. It's actually very sharp throughout. The stem and each one of these leaves that come out are actually very sharp, and that was a little hard to do, but they did a good job. So a good detail throughout. I would like to have these white areas dark down, and that would have been so simple. They pull the eye away from the actual subject a little bit. Could have just darkened that down. Doesn't have to go plumb black, but it could have gone to a darker color. I think we would have had a little better presentation. Composition 4, impact 3, technical 4.
Looking down the leaf by Donald Burnell, 11 points. Okay, Steve, we're gonna go down to digital subject monochrome.
Unmute.
And
Yeah.
I had some technical difficulties. So pictures 37 through 40, you're gonna have to read the titles and then give the name of the photographer.
I don't have any names.
Okay,
Now,
We'll
how come
figure
when
it
I
out.
hit, how come when I hit the arrow this time? Oh,
wrong arrow. See the red
Wait,
box
the
to your
left
left?
side,
There you
that
go.
arrow.
I'm just a computer whiz here, folks.
Okay, you're doing great.
Okay, and now we want to go to,
Time out. Anyway,
again,
Tim, help.
okay. Harvey's got his hand up.
Click Judges folder. Judges folder. Right in the middle top. Right in the middle, Judges folder, right there. There you
okay.
go.
Digital.
Yes, digital subject monochrome.
Good job, Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. That should be the first image.
Yes, after the fire.
Okay. Well, it looked like some rocks and pieces of metal. That's all I could get out of it. Not sure it would have made the newspaper. The composition of the burned items is okay. Nothing is sharp though. Nothing is sharp throughout the image. So there's not a lot of interest to look at. Not sure what the story would be. These images really, really need to work on sharpness on many of them we're talking about tonight. Use your tripod. It just makes a tremendous difference in the quality of your image if you can get everything, or at least everything that should be sharp within that image. On this one, I've given the composition a 3, impact 2, and technical 2.
After the Fire by Tim Lesser, 7 points. Audacious Adele 2.
Well, the storyline here is a seal facing off with a penguin with an audience in the back. That's a good story. The image is mostly sharp. There are a few areas that aren't sharp, but it's mostly sharp. It tells a good story. The whites have good detail, and nothing is blown out on that snow and ice or the stomach front ends of the penguin. So that was handled very well. It's just a nice monochrome image, a nice nature image. And we've scored that with a 4-4-4.
Audacious Adele 2 by Rose Marie Bissar. I'm sorry, I'm killing your name. 12 points. Captivity.
All right, captivity. You can just see the sadness in this chimp's face. We know he's a captive by the title, but also this rope just adds to the captivity. I hope that rope isn't tied around his leg or arm. This could have been an excellent story, but there is not one thing in the image that is sharp. It is soft all the way through on the chimp, the log, and the rope. And that is sad. That's sadder than the chimp. So we're going to go composition 3, impact 3, and technical 2.
Captivity by Beverly Harden, 8 points. All right, Steve, you're going to have to read the titles for the next 4. Ooh.
Okay, this one is or OOG. OHOUGH. We've got
Okay.
a crash scene here. No doubt what this story is. This will ruin your day, I'll tell you. this was your car. The composition is a little tight on both the bottom, which we've cut off the tire and part of the bumper. And also on the police car, we've cut the rear end off the police car. I think if we'd have backed out or zoomed out just a little bit, it would have been better to get everything included in that composition. I'd like to see the bright whites toned down a bit in the lower left, lower right, and the upper right. I think it would have helped keep our eye right in on the car, the police car and the wrecked car. Overall, it's an easy read story. It definitely fits the category. We've got a composition 3, impact 4, and technical 3.
Uh-oh, by I don't know who, 10 points.
That's Sister Madonna's.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sidecar, side eye. How's that for a title? Well, the composition looks good. I think they might be in a parade. It shows a lot to look at here in this, with the sidecar and the motorcycle. The driver looks very happy. The young man in the sidecar looks very scared. I don't know what speed they're going, but he looks nervous. Notice none of the people are looking at the subject. They're all looking off the other way. So that's why I think it might have been a parade and they're waiting for the next entry to come along. There are several bright areas that I think should have been toned down a little bit. They're not blown out, but they're just much lighter. The fender on the motorcycle, the windshield on the sidecar and the motorcycle, I think could have been toned down a little. Maybe toned down up in this upper left corner where the vegetation is up there. I think all those things would have helped it. There's just a lot to look at here, but it's really not that busy. It's all stuff that should be there. He's got a lot of things hanging on this sidecar, but they look kind of cool. So anyway, good image. Composition 3, impact 4, technical 3.
Sidecar, side eye, 10 points. And if you know the photographer, speak up.
Tamara McGee.
Thank you, Tamara.
Small town America. I looked at this one for a long time. I didn't get excited about it first. The more I looked at it, the more excited I got. I think it's an excellent photojournalism photo. Small town America, and it looks just like small town America, where all the storefronts are closed and people go by and look in and think, I wish this was open. Good composition. All the lines are straight. Look at the sides, the top, the street, the sidewalk, everything is straight. Nothing's bent, leaned, or crooked. It tells a great story. Some of the whites are nearly blown out, but they're not. They do have detail. And I think they could have been toned down a little bit. I think this image was very well handled and tells us a lot about small towns. It grows on you as you look at it, or it certainly did me. And I've given it a composition of 5, impact 4, and technical 4.
Okay, I can't add. 9, 13. Small town America.
No.
That's yours, John? Okay. Small Town America by John Lepper, 13 points.
Our last one, I believe, in this category is titled Taylor Momsen, M-O-N-S-E-N.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like it could have been a good story, but we needed to do a lot of work on it. The subject is dead center in the frame and not sharp. It's very soft in focus. And there's lots of things to take our eye away from the subject. We got silhouettes of heads, we got microphones, we got white stuff here. There's just lots of things pulling us away from this beautiful young singer, I believe it is. There's a strange hand coming out from behind her. It's kind of spooky, reaching for the microphone or something. We need to tone down the upper body and head. They're just very hot from that light coming down. In fact, they're completely burned out on the very top of her head. We need to darken those down. I know a good photo is really hard to get in these concerts. I've tried it. I give up. It's just really hard to get them. So anyway, on this one, we've given it a composition 3, impact 3, and technical 2.
Taylor Momsen, 8 points. And anyone here, the photographer?
It's mine. It's mine.
Butch? Okay, thanks, Butch.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, Butch. Just need to work a little harder on it.
Hey, at least he's making an effort. Okay, so that puts us halfway through. Do you guys want to take a break or continue?
Continue.
Okay, we can do that.
I vote continue.
How about you what? Okay,
You,
sounds like,
can you hear me, Colleen?
yeah, who's talking?
This is Harvey Brown.
Hi, Harvey.
I think I messed up as a newbie. I had an image that should have gone into mono general. I've been tracking it down. I think it ended up in mono print, which it doesn't qualify for. As a newbie, what do I do now?
I don't know. Harvey, I don't see your name on here.
Harvey, you talk to Dennis and see what he'll work out about showing it next time.
Okay, then
I don't think he's hearing us, so.
Well, I don't think it matters if it's in print. The only difference would be if he decides to enter it in Salon, then he would have to print it, but otherwise it won't make any difference.
well,
Unless he has too many entered next month, then we just.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, and we'll talk about Salon too at some point, won't we? Harvey, I don't see it even in the list. I don't see your name on here at all.
okay, I went through and tracked it down, and I think it has a label of print behind it. So I strongly suspect it'll show up in 2 weeks where it doesn't belong.
Exactly.
Probably. Okay.
Hey,
Well,
Harvey,
people
this
wanted-
is
Go ahead.
Steve Whitaker. I'm not a newbie and I did the same thing.
Okay,
We've all done it.
So easy
okay.
to do.
Well, maybe I'm just ahead of my time then.
That's it.
Could be. We'll work it out. Okay. So we are in digital subject color. Since everyone wants to move on. Air show.
I suppose I should get the right paper, huh? Okay, air show. Yeah, very nicely handled. Very good composition. The old aircraft versus the new aircraft. Good color, sharp focus. Are they real or are they models? I see no pilot in the newer aircraft. However, it's done well, whether they are real or models. Color is just right, composition, the exposure is right on, and I'm going to give it 4 on the composition, 4 on impact, and 4 on technical.
Air show by David Powers, 12 points.
It is real.
All right, good job, David. I couldn't see a pilot in the one, and I used to do some of these model things, and I thought, well, could have been.
All right. Blocking.
Blocking, yes, good photojournalism, right on the sports page. Great action photo with a good story. Exposure is right on. The maker caught a different expression on every face of these ladies. If you look at them, they all have a different expression. Some are scared, some are yelling. I don't quite understand the game, but I know it's pretty rough, and these girls get right in there and do it. It's very colorful. It's all in very good focus. Even though there was great action, the focus is good all the way through. So it's very well handled. Composition 4, impact 5, and technical 4.
Blocking by David Powers, 13 points. Cast off.
Okay, cast off. We got a little doll in a chair here. The exposure is good on the doll, quite dark in the background. And that's okay. It makes the doll pop out. Cropping's a little tight. I think I would have probably backed up just a little and shown the whole chair that the dolly is in. Brass bucket kind of pulls your eye away on that right side. And also there's a black thing hanging over the back of the chair. I don't know if it's a prop or a curtain or what it is, but didn't really need to be there. And it blocked out part of that good color tone on that chair. So I think I would have removed that and removed that copper bucket. Composition 3, impact 3, and technical 3.
Cast off by Beverly Harden, 9 points.
And if we can unmute Alice again.
This is Dr. Pierce's barn.
This image has a basic composition, good lines and angles in the structure of the barn. Subject placement is very centered and crowds the sides of the frame. Suggest crop off some foreground that doesn't contribute to the image so the building isn't so top heavy in the frame. Composition 3. The text on the building is historically interesting. Once read, there is a little to add context and keep attention in the image. I find myself wanting something to give the sign more meaning. Maybe if Dr. Pierce's car or wagon or house was in the image somewhere, or maybe Dr. Pierce should be if he was still around. Impact 3. Technically very good. Exposure is right on. Both whites and shadows have good detail. The focus is sharp outside the image. Throughout the image, sorry. Color is exactly what you would expect for the time of the day. Technical 5. So we have 3, 3, and 5.
Yes. Dr. Pierce's barn by Steve Shining, 11 points. Going to work.
All right, going to work. Just a very cute photo of this boy and his 2 steers. I don't know about going to work. They're going right down the highway. I think it would have looked better if they had been in a field. But anyway, I think the image is very well handled. Notice both steers and the boy, their right leg is first. They're right in step. I thought that was kind of cool. I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, but it sure worked out that way. Very good exposure. The color is good. The look on the boy's face, he's very intent. I think the maker did a good job on this, and I think it's a great photojournalism story. Composition 4, impact 4, and technical 4.
Going to Work by Tony Horpel, 12 points. Hanging On for Life.
Well, here's a very cute and colorful image with good exposure, but it is so far out of focus, it's really hard to enjoy. Please hold steady, use a tripod, lean against a tree, do something to steady yourself. It's a shame this one had to go completely out of focus. Composition 3, impact 3, technical 1.
Hanging On for Life by Sister Madonna, 7 points. Hoop Fest.
All right, and Hoop Fest has been changed to September in Spokane, Washington for this next year. That has nothing to do with the photo, right? Hoop Fest. When I first looked at it, I thought it was two photos. It's like split right in the middle, but it's a great reflection in this water puddle, mud puddle. I don't think it's muddy, but it's a water puddle. And the reflection came out really good. In fact, the boys that are playing ball are maybe a half a stop overexposed. The reflection with the courthouse there is completely perfect exposure. So that was kind of cool. But your color in the water reflections is always darker than the original. So good action to these young boys playing ball. Yeah, I think it's a good photo, much richer colors in the lower, like I said. We're going to give it a composition 3, impact 3, and technical 3.
Hoop Fest by John Leopard, 9 points. Ice Climber.
Wow, ice climber. That's something I've never done. I'm never going to do either.
That's scary.
I think this one is handled very well. First, you're lucky enough to be there to catch this guy in the middle of this ice climb. I've always wanted to do that and never got the opportunity. It's great. The color's good. The exposure's good. The action is good. The snow is not blown out. There's nothing blown out in the white snow or ice. The rock color kind of balances out. I think it's just very well handled. And I thank the maker for sharing this. I can find nothing that I would change, and I've given it a 15.
Ice Climber by Steve Whitaker, 15 points.
Nice job, Steve. Can you give us the location? He
Yeah,
can.
this was in Ouray, Colorado.
All right, thank you.
Wow. Just right.
Just right. Don't we all wish we'd have been there on that boat? Beautiful, beautiful polar bears. Good detail in the white snow and the white bears. There's no loss of detail. I would rather see the photographers a bit more subdued. They do kind of compete with the bears, and I don't think that's what we want. I know why they're there. It makes it a photojournalism image, and I know why they're shooting, just clicking now. I can hear them cameras just clicking, but I would like to see them a little more subdued, I think. Composition 3, impact 5, technical 4.
Just right by Rosemary Bisyar, 12 points. Lincoln City, Oregon fire.
Well, we all know about fires, and I guess they had them in Lincoln City also, and we sure had them around here this summer. Looks like just a devastating house fire. The exposure is good in all areas. I believe that I would have cropped this photo right up about this area right here. This fence is not helping any over here. I think I would have cropped it straight up and then about straight across right here. The tops of these trees aren't adding much, neither is this business on the left. So that would just be a suggestion. Okay, that was all on that. Anyway, well handled. Exposure is good. Color is good, what there is of it. It's so sad to see these devastating fires. Composition 3, impact 4, technical 3.
Lincoln City, Oregon fire by Tim Lesser, 10 points. Malden Strong.
Here we have another sad fire. This whole town of Malden burned down. A devastating fire in our area. This image could have been in any newspaper. Great photojournalism image. The little flag, I think, adds to it gives us some hope maybe with this image. The exposure is good. The depth is good. You can see the devastation clear back to the back. Shadows could have been brought up a little bit. There are some dark areas that I think would have been better had those shadows been brought up a little bit. So for mulled and strong, we go 4 on composition, 4 on impact, and 4 on technique.
Mulled and Strong by Lori Carlton Smith, 12 points. Pollution.
Well, it looks like a nuclear power plant. I'm sure that's what it is. Good exposures on the colors. Nothing is blown out. I think the smoke looks kind of cool, and the maker has stopped it so the smoke is all real sharp against that darker sky. I think it's a nice sky. I think that was handled well. I like the look of the smoke, the look of the smokestacks. I would have lightened that big, heavy shadow area, I believe. Would have been pretty easy to do, not burn it out by any means, but just lighten it. I also would have leaned over the top of this fence and shot over the top of the fence, because the fence is not helping. I think that it just would have made it, the composition, a little better. Composition 4, impact 3, technical 4.
Pollution by Terry Hamilton, 11 points. Stop. I said stop.
Okay, I lost my page here. Stop. I said stop. Hey, that's a very interesting standoff. Elephant versus Land Rover. Good exposure on it. It's a great story here. It makes you wonder how the story ended. Who gave? Who moved? I think I would have done a little crop the top down just below that green bush. Taken some of that top off, it would have made the elephant in the Land Rover not quite so centered. I also would have taken out that bird in the right third there. Even though it's a black bird, it is a bit distracting. My eye wants to bounce over to it. Not a big deal, but it would have been so easy to just crop that out. And I think I would have done that. A great photojournalism, great journalism image. Also, we could have cropped out these white rocks over here. They're all little bitty things, but each of those little bitty things that you can take care of in post-production before you enter your images, they all help. So for this one, we've given it a 3 on composition, a 4 on impact, and a 4 on technique.
Stop. I said stop by Carolyn Clark, 11 points. Stuck college hunks.
Stand by just a second. Stand by. I have lost a sheet of paper here.
Oh,
I'm sure there's 2 stuck together somewhere. This should be number 14. Is that correct, Colleen?
it should be number 26.
Well, I mean 14 in category.
1, 2, 3.
Well, doesn't matter. I got the paper here.
Yes, it would be number 14 in the category.
Do you have 17 total in that category?
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21 altogether.
21. There we go. Sorry about that. That gave you a little break from my voice. Stuck college honks. Well, yeah, I guess they're honks. Yes, these boys are stuck good. Not sure that Ford on the right is going to be any help to get them out. They got this big old truck really buried. Good exposure on everything. The big letters are sharp, but the boys, the truck, the Ford, nothing else is sharp. They're all a bit fuzzy. Again, use your tripod, get steady. Sharpness is so important. We really need it. Composition 3, impact 3, technical 2.
Oh, Stuck College Hunks by Lori Pence, 8 points. Tethered.
Tethered. Very beautiful. Very nice portrait of this captive bird. Good exposure on the feathers, except the very center of the chest is not burned out, but it's very close. It's very, very light. It should have been darkened down just a bit. I keep pointing at this thing, and I know you don't know what I'm doing, but the very center of the white chest should have been darkened down just a little. It would have improved it. And not that I marked it down for that, but except for this. Great exposure on the feet. I like them yellow feet. Tack sharp throughout the image. Everything is perfectly sharp. Good catch light in the eye. Another thing to think about in these animals, and I was going to mention that in the sheep, or maybe I did. The theory is if you flip it, I think I did, you'd be coming into the bird's beak and eye from the left, because we read from left to right, and they say that that would get the image more attention. Think about that. Okay, tethered, composition 5, impact 5, technical 4.
Tethered by Elaine Giordoni, 14 points.
Woohoo!
The Day After.
Well, it was a bit confusing to me. The day after what? And what is the subject? We've got a piece of cardboard on the highway. We've got a SUV going away, and we've got some rocks and greenery on the right, which I think is the best part of the picture. We really need a center of interest and understand what that center of interest is and what the story is. Is it the cardboard? I don't know. We just have to work a little harder on some of our compositions. And the score I've given this is a 2 on composition, a 2 on impact, and a 3 on technical. At least it's sharp.
Day After by John McLaughlin, 7 points. The Play at First.
Okay, play it first. Here we got a great photojournalism sports page. Very good action. If you'll notice, both the players have their feet off the ground, so the maker caught that action just perfectly. You can see the ball in the air coming toward the mid of that first baseman. I think that's kind of cool that ball is still in the air. Just good timing on the maker's part. It tells a great sports story. We got a nice butt shot of the umpire. Good depth of field. Only the 2 players are sharp. The umpires and the crowd in the background are subdued. They're not plumb blurry, they're just subdued. So our eye stays on the 2 players where the action is. So I think that was very well handled. Composition 4, impact 5, technical 4.
The Play at First by Tamara McGee, 13 points. Tossing the wash water.
Being photojournalism is our subject, I think this is an absolutely perfect photojournalism photo. It tells a great story, in my opinion. I believe this is probably a nun. I don't believe this is in Spokane, Washington. I think this is in some other country. But look at the action of this water that she just spilled out of that bucket. There's nothing distracting except this little bitty piece of paper. I wish that the maker would have taken that out, the yellow and green piece of paper right there. Didn't mark it down at all for that, but it would have been nice to have that out of there. Notice this maker, this nun or whatever she is, can only afford 2 clothespins, 1 per garment. Beautiful tree, great tones on all this. It's not burned out. I think the maker's just done an excellent job. Even this turquoise little paint in the door adds a little more to it. It just breaks up that color. I think it's very well done. And I'm going to give it 5, 5, 5.
Tossing the wash water by Dorothy Detler, 15 points.
Wow. Dorothy, you want to tell us where that's at?
Yeah, it's in Egypt,
All right. Good job.
and it was a Muslim lady.
Uh-huh.
Urban cowboy.
Urban cowboy. Well, as you can see, this is how our summer looked. This is either, I believe it's smoke. It could be smoke, dust, or fog, but I believe it's, with the dress that the cowboy has on, I believe it's probably smoke. And it's very unfortunate. Atmosphere like this can sometimes really add to a photo. I'm not sure it added a lot to this or hurt it a lot. The rider and the horse are very centered in that photo. That could have been a little more off center, I think would have helped it. Because of the atmosphere, the color is not just as sharp as it should be, although the image is sharp in focus. Composition 3, impact 3, and technical 3.
Urban Cowboy by Donna Larson, 9 points. Waiting.
All right, waiting. Very cute image of this, I would guess, mother and 3 children. They've got ice cream cones and they're really enjoying it. I think they're sitting up on some boats. And you see this rope here in this bag? I hope that's not tied to that girl's leg to keep her. Just kidding. Anyway, it looks like a fishing village or a village along the ocean, probably somewhere. I think that's makes it a very good photojournalism image. The focus is good on most, but on the 2 girls' faces, it is not good. And the little boy is a little bit soft too. We need to just really concentrate on our focusing efforts. Be sure we're using a tripod. So for waiting, the composition is 3, impact 3, and technical 3.
Waiting by Dorothy Detler, 9 points. And our last image for tonight, Westlake March.
Westlake March. Okay, well, I don't know where Westlake is, but there is one in Seattle. Anyway, a good message, good color, not so good focus. They're very soft, especially on the faces of each one of these gentlemen. Very sharp, very on sharp. Beautiful colors on the flag, beautiful colors on the signage. The white distraction, both on this part of the sign and this over here, it should really be darkened down. It would be very easy to darken those down. I'm not sure that this one bothers us too much, but anyway. composition 3, impact 3, technical 2.
Westlake March by Butch Shop, 8 points. And that's it.
Very good. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Steve.
Yeah, great job, Steve. Thank you.
Yes. How about everybody? Big hand for Steve. Even if we can't
Thank you,
hear you.
Steve.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Next,
Yeah.
next
Did we
week,
talk about next
education night. Education night next week, we will have 3 different presenters. I will send out an email when I finalize what they each will do, but they're going to be, at least one of them is Tamara placing a watermark on your photos.
Oh, cool.
Colleen will be doing those twirl
Swirl. Mhm.
where you take a picture, you twirl it one way, you twirl it the other way, and you get this gorgeous abstract from it. She'll show you how to do that. And then I have yet to finalize a third one, but it should all be fun. And that'll be at 7 o'clock next Wednesday on Zoom.
All right. Thanks. Nice
Okay.
job tonight, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks. Steve.
Bye.
Good night.